Last week, a friend of mine asked me to help him write an email to a business client of his. I agreed to help him remotely, and I used a computer to watch what he was writing while we spoke on the phone at the same time. He was in his home office in another city, but it was like we were working in the same room and looking at the same monitor. For the most part, his email was well written, and my suggestions to improve it were minor tweaks. He could have sent most of what he wrote in his email without my help, and it would have been fine, except for one line. He was addressing the question of whether or not his client needed to send him financial statements, which he would need later on in his process. The problematic sentence that he wrote was, "We might as well get the financial statements now." As soon as he wrote that line, the grammar checking software in his email program underlined part of the sentence, and I pointed out the error to him. It was one of the last things that he wrote in his email, and he kept on writing a little bit more after I pointed out the error, and then he just ignored me and sent the email without correcting it. As I saw his mouse cursor moving up toward the send button, I again interjected to say, "Wait, you wrote mine as well." It was in vain though, because, as I already said, he clicked send, despite my attempts to correct him. Immediately after he sent the email, he defended what he had written, at first saying that we just had different writing styles, and that it didn't matter. I was so confused by what he was saying that I didn't even realize at first that he didn't understand that he'd made a mistake. This friend of mine is a very successful, university-educated, 40-year-old native English speaker who works with wealthy clients on complex financial transactions. It didn't make any sense to me that he didn't understand the mistake that he had made, and it actually took quite a bit of explaining, arguing, and convincing on my part to finally get him to accept that what he had written was just plain wrong. It was frankly totally baffling to me. After I was done helping him, I did some additional research on this subject, and only then did I realize that it is actually a common mistake among both native and non-native English speakers, and that it is due primarily to the speed at which native English speakers typically say the phrase "might as well." In an effort to prevent you from making this same mistake that my friend has apparently been making for his entire life, let's get into the details of how these two similar sounding but very different meaning phrases can be correctly used. The phrases "we might as well" and "might as well" are most commonly used to make a suggestion without enthusiasm. As an example, someone might say something like, "We might as well start working." In that example, the speaker is indicating that while he or she does not necessarily want to start working, he or she also thinks that they probably should start. An alternative use of the phrase "might as well" indicates that something is the same as if a hypothetical scenario were true. For instance, someone might say, "This fantastic local wine might as well have been produced in France." In that example, it is implied that the local wine tastes similar to wines from France, and the listener likely understands that this is a compliment toward the quality of the local wine, because wines from France are generally of superior quality compared to local wines. "We mine as well" is not a common phrase, because it only applies to the act of mining. For example, if a family of diamond miners was touring a coal mine and was asked what they did for a living, they could respond as a group by saying, "We mine as well." If you remove the word "we" from the phrase, it has a more general, possessive meaning. The phrase "mine as well" indicates that something belongs to me in addition to someone else. Examples could be to say, "It's my wife's car, but it's mine as well." Or, "That cat is mine as well." Or, "This is my sister's school, and mine as well. Okay, congratulations, we are done. Unlike a lot of people, you now know how to correctly differentiate between these phrases. You know how and when to use them, and now you'll notice when other people do not use them correctly. With that in mind, feel free to share this video with anyone you think needs a little help to do the same. Please also consider subscribing for more lessons, and once that's done, go on and enjoy the rest of today.